Friday, June 30th, 2017, last day of June. I started recording of this and had some bad connection and it was completely stopped, not the usual pause and it comes back. So I guess I can take the hint and try and make this one quick for Foundation Friday. This is not for you advanced marketers out here. This is a very basic concept. As always, I say of the day, and this is one of my favorites. It is a green malachite rhino, hand-carved out of malachite, green stone, crystal, I believe, out of the Congo. And it's very cool, very substantial, heavy rock crystal malachite rhino. I have a bigger one that I'll be sharing on a future Facebook Live, and I noticed that I am, yes, a little extra scruffy today. I think pretty much everybody here in America, at least, when it's the Friday before a holiday weekend, everyone kind of treats it like it's already a holiday, and I guess I have done that. But let's get to it. Today's Foundation Friday tip is to always be testing. Always BBT testing. Always be test. So here's the deal. I cannot tell you how many, I was reminded to talk about this today because I was interviewed this morning by a good friend of mine, the brilliant Tom Beal, phenomenal marketer. If you ever get a chance to meet Thompson or follow him on Facebook, just about every morning he posts a sunrise video as he takes a walk on the beach. It's very motivational, very cool to start the day. And since I'm here on the left coast 3 hours earlier, during the count on that being there, no matter how early I get up, Tom's been up earlier, former Marine, although there's no such thing as a former Marine, right? And all around fantastic guy, and he's been the right-hand man to some of the top direct response marketers, especially in the online world. Rich Sheffrin, Mike Phil Same, works with all kinds of top people. And he interviewed me today for one, he explained it, but I don't remember, or I don't think he told me the name of it, for some high-end program where high-performing entrepreneurs are paying $10,000 each, and there's hundreds of them in the program, and he interviewed me to share some wisdom with them. And the first question he asked is, what's the biggest mistake people make with their marketing? And I gave my standard answer that I teach, and I will share one of them today. I teach the 3 biggest mistakes that people make. I'll go right to number 3, which is the subject of today. Always be testing. Too many times, way too many times, and I've worked with thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs who want to get started in marketing and do their stuff, and they make this mistake all the time of asking me or their secretary or their wife or husband or dog or neighbor or whatever, hey, what do you think? Hey, what do you think of my brochure? Hey, what do you think of my website? Hey, what do you think of this business code? What do you think? What do you think? Stop asking what do I think. I'm not your chosen target who. I am not the person you want to get money from and do business with. I'm not the person who is emotionally suffering from a problem that you can solve. I'm not the person to judge. What does it matter what I think? Put that in front of your chosen who and find out what they think. Simply make an offer, make an irresistible offer, which will be, hey, check this out. So let's say I have 2 different versions of my website. Hey, click here and go to the site, and I'll do that for a week, and I'll see how many people that went, did whatever I want them to do, sign up for my email list or buy my thing or get a free sample or whatever it is. I'll see if they did that. And then the next week, I'll send them to my other website. That's a simple way of doing what we call A/B split testing. You have version A, version B. There's software that does this automatically. Google A/B split testing, or whatever it's called. Google does it automatically when you place Google ads. Facebook probably too, and whatever. I don't keep up with all the technology. I have my team to do that at it, but there's plenty of testing software and sites that automatically do that testing. They'll show one version of your web page to every other visitor. So every other visitor sees the A, the B, the A, the B, and when you send X number of people to it, and at the end of X amount of given time on the internet, you do it right, you can get really quick response and quick your testing. It's the greatest testing mechanism ever designed is the internet. So you can test things very quickly, throw in $5 or $10 on Google and drive 100 people to page version A and web page version B, and you'll quickly see how many people respond to each, and do it again and again, and you pretty much get to a real, and you can sometimes on the first one tell that, like, man, 60 people responded to this one, 0 to that one. Hey, that's pretty good. I don't need to drive any more traffic than that. But the key is top marketers, sharp marketers, business owners, anyone that really knows what they're doing is always testing. So an analogy I give is to, and I don't know more about it than other than I've heard. The analogy is to a guided missile. Missile, from what I hear, it takes off from the landing pad, and that's all the engineers really are doing. They're pointing it in the general direction, of course, and they're getting it off the launch pad. And then all the engineers and the guidance people take over, and signals are bouncing off of satellites and going back, and they're adjusting, and let's nudge it over a little to the left, and oh, the wind, and the this, and the whatever, and we've got to guide that missile right to the target. I'm sure if you talk to anybody that knows anything about that, they know that you don't just fire off a missile, a guided missile, and then it somehow perfectly hits target every time with no correction, no course corrections, no guidance. Doesn't happen. Okay, this course correction is going on constantly, and that's how I want you to picture your marketing. Same thing if you're driving. Anyone ever drive down the road? I remember as a kid even learning this. I would watch my dad drive, hands on the steering wheel, and they were always going like this. And I was like, Dad, why are you shaking the car? I remember asking that. I was like a 5-year-old kid. Why are you shaking it? It was like, laughing as always, like silly questions, but it was like, I'm not. That's generally just what happens. The car is driving. The road is not perfectly flat, and it's always going a little bit. So that's why you keep your hands on the wheel. And what I'm doing is constantly adjusting to keep it straight in the lane. And so that's how you want to think about your marketing. Turn the key and start that thing up. Don't leave the car in the driveway and go, hey, neighbor, hey, wife, hey, employee, hey, my mentor, a coach, or a mastermind group, or anybody, what do you think? How well does my car drive? What do you think? He's not driving. Can't tell you what I think. Get it on the road. How well does that get to the destination? I don't know. Looks good in the driveway. But so what? Get it going towards the destination. Always be testing. And then even when you get something that works, you still want to split test against that, although then you wouldn't do a straight A-B. So that 90% of the that you're buying, the people that you're paying for, the people you're emailing, or whatever you're doing to send out your message, 90% will, that what we call the control in marketing, that works. And then 10% you'll send over to a test, because who knows, even though I got something that really works, what if I send a few over here and see if that one works? Okay, so in seminars, and I've been in seminars and seen others do it, where you watch the video this morning where the presenter was doing that. He's one of the leaders, one of the greatest direct response marketers and copywriters of all time, and it was a video I was watching, about 45 minutes, and at least for 20 minutes of it, he was showing 2 different versions of ads you think got a better response, and almost all of them were split 50-50, and some of the actual results were sometimes 90-10 in a couple of them, to 32 and whatever, like way, none of the ones he showed were even close, and yet it was always like some for A, some for B, and even he said it, and I admit it also, I guessed the wrong one, and like, so I guessed the wrong one. One of the greatest copywriters, direct response marketers of all time, guess the wrong one some of the times. Constantly happens. I know with my team, with my companies or my clients, we put something together, we say, we put it out there and we do the A/B test, we go, I don't even know why we're testing, because clearly we know this one will work, and then sure enough the other one works. We never know. You never know. No one you ask ever knows, other than your target who. So always be testing. I want you to have the mentality of taking massive quick action. Get it off the launch pad, get that car out of the driveway, whatever analogy you want to choose, get it going, and then start to course correct. Always be driving that thing, course correcting, A, B, A, B, A, B. Oh, you constantly got to be course correcting. It's the same with your marketing. Get it on the highway already. Don't sit in the driveway and go, Steve, what do you think? Or anybody else, what do you think? Ask your target market, what do you think? By putting the offer out there and see who responds. It's also why it's, of course, important, and a response mechanism, a phone number, an email, a website, some way they can respond in every single ad or marketing piece or email, a text message, anything you do. so you can measure the response and you can correct accordingly. Testing, and that's what sharp marketers and business owners are always doing. That's it for Foundation Friday, June 30th, 2017. I don't see anyone here live. Who knows if I made it private again today. I thought I saw that it wasn't, but no one's on here. Maybe the reason they're not on here, it's a holiday weekend Friday anyway. So